Okay. Orientation. Rotate device. Why do you want me to rotate the device? The last time that I did this, I was able to have it. Why is that? Why is that? Why are you doing this? Does it have to be like this? Does it really have to be like that? Okay, fine, it can be like that. I'm pretty sure the last time that I did live stream, I could have it be this way. It's here, it insists. If I do that, say orientation is locked, rotate device back. Okay, well, we'll try that. I guess we'll see what happens. Yeah. You know, I should probably do some research. Should probably do some research on the things pertaining to live streaming because, well, I'm not exactly an expert in that. Yeah, you know what they say, experience. Experience is what's important. So, yeah, we're going to do that. Okay, so if I put this here, could I put it over there? If I told him, would he like it? Would he like it if I told him? If Napoleon, if Napoleon, if Napoleon. Let's move that. Yeah. Y'all make sure to do that to everyone that is not here yet. Hey, if no one shows up, at the very least, it'd be a good learning experience. So, definitely do that. Ah, hello. Hello and welcome. I just decided to do this because why not? I mean, hey, this is the week of Comic Con, so there's kind of stuff to talk about that. So, yeah. Yeah, there's someone here. Hello, hello. Ah, Hello. Hello and welcome to the 25th of July. Man, can y'all believe July's almost over? Like, what happened? What happened with that? I don't know what happened with that. I mean, I know that for one, like, I feel like I just wake up and all of a sudden it's like the next month. I was like, what happened? Like, I remember when it just turned to June and then all of a sudden, boom, it's July. And then July's almost over. So, like, what is going on here? I don't know what's going on here. Speaking of what is going on, what are these options here? Okay. I don't remember all of these things being here. Okay. Okay. Right. I suppose I'm just all alone in this void that we call live streaming, I suppose. It's alright. I have to be honest. I didn't really have a specific plan in mind when I hit go live. It's just kind of a thing of, hey, I haven't done this in a while. Hello, good morning. Yes. I just kind of figured it's kind of been a while. The last one I did was kind of fun, and with this being the week of Comic-Con, I figure, hey, why not talk about that, talk about other things happening because things have happened in recent news. A couple months ago, there was a movie that just absolutely blew up the box office, and then there was a movie that was supposed to be a big deal that didn't quite do it. So yeah, there's a lot to talk about. So yeah, I'm cool to talk about whatever. Like I said, just kind of thought, hey, been a while. Let's just hit record and see what happens. So how's it going for you guys today? This morning of July 25th. I think McFarlane. Well, McFarlane SDCC reveals. Well, I have to say that for one, I was a little confused when I first saw it because I was under the impression with the announcement that Mattel made and like the big news that happened late last year about hey, McFarlane's going to lose the license and it's going back to Mattel, and then we saw pictures of this stuff and And yeah, I was like, okay, so that means that McFarlane is done, and I thought that's what it meant, but apparently no, they still got DC stuff going on, which that's cool. I'm just a little apprehensive about it because um right because I lost my train of thought. Basically, I saw like the reveals, but they also said like deluxe theatrical edition and all of that. And we all know what that means. That means that they're going to charge essentially what used to be $20. Now they're going to charge like $35 for it. So so I think it's cool. Just I really don't get why they're hiking the prices up so much. But yeah, I think that some of them are cool, like the Batman '89 Harvey Dent Two Face, the Billy D. Williams Two Face. I think that that's kind of cool that they're gonna do that. A more comic inspired Raven. I think that that's kind of cool. Because I know not everyone was a big fan of the first Raven that they made a couple years back. So that's kind of cool. And then they're gonna make stuff, like Absolute Batman, which is gonna be cool. They're gonna do like a proper like Commissioner Gordon, which I think is kind of cool. So yeah, overall, I think that they got interesting figures that are coming out. It's just I'm a little worried about what they're going to charge for them. uh, but I mean, what can you do? But yeah, what do you think of what do you think of those? Yeah, I know, yeah. Yeah, it's because everyone because I listen to voices on both sides of the argument, people that are pro McFarlane and people that are anti McFarlane. I listen to both sides just to see what people are saying, and the people that are very much anti McFarlane that were like, well, it took them long enough. They didn't do stuff like this for the longest time, and now that they're running out of license, then they decide to give what the people want. And so I mean, admittedly, there is a little bit of truth to that. But yeah, I mean, I'm kind of neutral when it comes to McFarlane. I mean, I used to be very much for them, and then when the prices started going up, and I thought that the content overall started going down, I was like, I don't know about that. And then I do have to be completely honest. I mean, if you saw my reviews, you would know, but I for one really like the new Mattel stuff. Now, do I think that like this is leagues better than McFarlane in every way? No, I don't think so. And do I think that with this is what they're showing now? Do I think that their stuff is going to get better or it's going to get worse? I don't know yet. I say let's just find out and see what happens there. Um, but yeah, so, yeah, I was curious to see what McFarlane would do, like what they were going to show off, and I will say some of the stuff was interesting. Yeah, I agree. Just kind of wait and see. Um, but yeah, I for one, I saw these and I was like, oh, they're so cool. They kind of remind me of like the toys that I played with when I was growing up. So I thought that that was kind of cool. But yeah, with McFarlane, I do think that some of their stuff is kind of cool. Like another thing is the new Witchblade figure that's coming out. I think that that's kind of cool. Like I actually, I've been showing pictures of the San Diego Comic Con stuff. Like I've been showing pictures of that stuff to my wife, who knows. Admittedly, she knows a lot less about comics and all of that stuff than I do. And I was showing her pictures of, look, they're doing this, and with the Witchblade figure in particular, she's like, I don't know who that is, but that's really cool. I was like, yeah, it's kind of cool. Now, admittedly, if you're here to ask me a whole bunch of stuff about Witchblade, I admittedly don't know very much about it. I just know that it's a Mark Silvestri property that was big when Image first was made in 1992. But when it comes to Image knowledge, I know Spawn, and that's about it. And admittedly, their Spawn stuff isn't the best because they did those 3 new figures. and I didn't pick them up, but I heard yeah, yeah, yeah. I know. Yeah, it is kind of a lot. They did a similar thing with Spawn and then Savage Dragon, and then admittedly a really skinny looking Shadowhawk. Like I remember, oh, when was that? Was that Toy Fair? I think that was Toy Fair that they showed like renders of like these new upcoming figures of like Spawn and then Savage Dragon and Shadowhawk and all of that, and I was like, those are gonna be so cool. And then we actually saw what the actual figure looked like, and I was like, he's so skinny. Why isn't he like super bulked up? Like, what's up with that? I guess that's what happens when you rely on reuse instead of creating all new molds. And I completely understand that you can't make an entirely new mold every single time. I get that, but at the same time, you got to try to do what you can to make it look, you know, accurate and all of that. And I personally don't think they quite hit the mark with Shadowhawk there, which is a little disappointing. But regardless, it's not something that I care too much about because I think Shadowhawk is cool. I think his design is really fun and like peak '90s stuff, which is fun for me. But yeah, it's not like, oh my goodness, I'm done with McFarlane because Shadowhawk doesn't look good. It's not that. It was just an observation I had of. Yeah, they could have done that better, but regardless, yeah. I will say one company that I was following really closely with not Toy Fair, but Comic-Con. The Comic-Con reveals that would be NECA. Because I was like, oh, I guarantee NECA's gonna have a whole bunch of stuff. And admittedly, what they showed off, I was a little underwhelmed. I was like, okay, we already knew about this. We already knew about this. This is kind of cool, but where is all of this stuff? Like I had these preconceived ideas of they were gonna have so much stuff available, where they're just gonna showcase a whole bunch of stuff. Disparting from Wildcats. Yes, I did. Yes, I did see the Wildcats figure. Yeah. Yeah, and the Ghost Machine one too. Yeah, that's all cool. It's just admittedly I know less about those characters than some of the other ones. So yeah, I did notice them. It's just that when I did see those pictures, I was like, that's cool, but I don't entirely know who that is. But yeah. I mean, I personally think it would be kind of cool if McFarlane like went back to what happened back in '94 and '95, back when McFarlane Toys started out, and they had the Spawn line, but then they also had lines based off of Youngblood and Wetworks, which at the time were really big names in that company. So I think it would be cool if they were to go back and they'd be like, hey, we're gonna make figures based off of whatever the big image IPs are now. So you could do something like, hey, let's do something with Invincible, let's do something with Walking Dead, just have an entire line dedicated to that. I think that would be really cool. Now, would that be popular? I can't say, but at the very least, I think it would be cool. But I don't know. I don't work there. I don't have any experience with running a toy company. Yeah, Jada is doing that. That does definitely look interesting. I mean, Jada, they knew what they were doing when they jumped on the Street Fighter line a couple years back, because everyone knew them as like the car company. Like they made like these like model cars, and it's like, okay, they're making action figures. How's that going to go? And then they made the Street Fighter figures, and everyone was like, oh my goodness, this is the best company ever. So yeah, they're making the Invincible figures. I thought that was kind of cool there. Now, though, interestingly enough, I don't know as much about Invincible as I probably should. What I mean by that is when the animated series first started up, as soon as it came out, I watched season one like right away. And when season one ended, I was like, that's cool. I can't wait to check out season two. And then season two hit, and I don't know what happened, but I just never checked it out. I don't know if it was a thing if I just wasn't interested at the time, or I don't know what it was. For one reason or another, I just never checked out season 2, and because I never checked out season 2, I never checked out season 3, 4, however many seasons they got. So all I know really is season 1 and like a couple of other characters, but yeah, I mean, I know generally about Invincible, and yeah. So like I said, admittedly, I should know a lot more than I should. I just don't. Um, but yeah. Regardless, I'm not the expert on that kind of stuff. But that's okay. It's okay. What do oh yeah, never. You already answered that. Yeah, no, never mind. I was just thinking about potential fame I only know about it from the show. Yeah, you see, I knew about the I knew like a general thing of, yeah, it's like before the show came out, I knew a thing of, yeah, it's a comic book series that exists, and it was it was written by Robert Kirkman. And I was like, okay, so the Walking Dead guy did a superhero comic, and like that was all I knew about. And then when season 1 came out and everyone was talking about it, I was like, hey, I have to check that out. And then I did, and that was the end of it. I don't know. Should I check out season 2, 3, whatever, however many seasons there are? Because I could, but if uh, if it's not the best, then I probably won't bother checking it out. But I don't know. I don't know. I have weird taste when it comes to stuff. I happen to like things that people don't like, and I happen to dislike things that people like. I mean, that's I'm not trying to do that. That's just what happens. And sometimes it's not even my fault. I mean, if y'all saw my video back a couple years ago when I ranked all of the Batman movies, y'all already get kind of an idea of that. Batman. Oh my goodness, I'm knocking stuff over. Marvel Legends reveals some of them rough. I don't know. They can improve. Expect space. Yeah, I know. Yep. That is definitely the case. I will say that their Marvel Rival stuff looks interesting because I mean, like obviously they had to go with new sculpts for those because those designs are so stylized. I'm just a little worried that if they when they make those, because I already saw like the pre-order price and it's like a really high amount. And in all honesty, Hasbro, like they're a really big name company. They don't have to charge that much. They just do. But regardless, I knocked some stuff over. Hold on. Let me put these back in place. Take them and put them back. Stand them back up where they were. They must stand up. You see, that's kind of a problem that we have the Rivals Punisher. Oh, cool! You got it already. I didn't know those were out yet. I thought it was just a thing of they were in the process of making them. I didn't know they were already out. Oh my goodness, I'm dropping all kinds of stuff. Hit targets for this month. Oh really? How about that? How about that? You know, I can't say that I'm terribly surprised because I follow like collector groups and all of that, and they talk about I just went to my local Target or my local Walmart, and they like show pictures of like brand new figures that were just announced like a day ago, and I'm like, how do you have that already? But yeah, I guess I can't say I'm too surprised. It's just I didn't know that those are already out, so that's kind of cool. It's kind of cool. Did you see any other figures there, or was it just the Punisher? Yep. Yeah. We'll say out of the Marvel Rival figures, I'm not sure if I'm going to get any of them, but if I were to get one, I'm sure it's Wolverine. Okay. I will say that out of the Marvel Rival figures that they did show off there, if I were to get one, it would probably be the Moon Knight one because I'm a big Moon Knight fan, and his look in that game is kind of cool, and he looks good. It's just $40 for that. I don't know. I don't know about $40. Like y'all can get a NECA figure for $40, and in all honesty, I think you get kind of like better value than that. But that's neither here nor there. Um, but yeah, I guess we'll Bucky's version of the Marvel. Okay, yeah, I've seen those in stores. Like I was at a GameStop not too long ago. That's actually how I found this. Um, was I was at a GameStop not too long ago, and they had some of the Blockies figures there. They had Moon Knight, and I think they also had Sue Storm, Invisible Woman, Invisible Girl, whatever. Um, I think they had those there, and I was like, I'm not one for model kits. Um, Model kits have never really been my thing, so that's kind of cool. But yeah, so I can appreciate them, I can respect them. It's just that's not for me. I always get too stressed out with that kind of stuff of like, no, unfortunately, it doesn't scale well. Oh, okay. So you said doesn't scale well. Does that mean that it's like too big or too small or what? And if so, maybe we should have Todd make that because very famously, Todd McFarlane, when it comes to Venom adaptations, he only cares about one thing, and that's how big the character is. Oh, they made him small. No, that's not what Todd would want. I mean, when he saw Spider-Man 3, he was very disappointed in what they did with Venom. He's like, they made him normal sized. He's supposed to be gigantic and all that. Oh, they made him small. That's not good, especially with the Marvel Rivals design, where like Marvel Rivals Venom, he's like supposed to be like super big, like towering over everything. Um, but Legends on oh, okay. Good old Jeff the Land Shark. Jeff the Land Shark. Lucky Jeff is lover. Oh, okay. So they're well articulated then. Okay, I didn't know if they would be or not. Because again, I don't have that much experience with model kits. Legends Lizzie with Jeff. Okay, okay, yeah. Well, admittedly, Marvel Legends they kind of dropped the ball on quite a number of their releases, which is really too bad considering we used to have Marvel Select and then we don't anymore. Marvel Select used to be cool, and they were kicked out, and then with that, then we just had Marvel Legends to do that, and well, their character selection is good. Some of the figures aren't too bad. It's just that overall, I find that it's kind of like that. Um, I mean, I think the main problem that I personally have with Marvel Legends is the price. I think that they are way too expensive for what you get. Um, but yeah, that's just my opinion on that anyway. Um, First lucky monkey yesterday. Action Edition Optimus Prime $40. Wait a minute. It's a model kit with an LED feature? I didn't even know that was possible. Oh man, wow, that is that's something else. I didn't know you could do something like that. That's cool. Yeah. Wow, that's really cool. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. So you're saying that they have features like that, but they're also well articulated and well designed. Markets this person. Well, how about that? I guess it's a plus for Transformers then. Wow, I did not know about that. I did not know about that. That's interesting. All right. Well then, that's you have given me something to think about then. I did not know about that. How about that? Very interesting. Yeah, Batman Beyond. Batman Beyond. Ooh, interesting. Interesting. Huh. Okay. That's kind of cool. Hmm. Y'all got me curious to check these guys out now. Design is their style. Oh, their style. Okay. So is it kind of like what's the company's name? Oh, what is it? Oh, Revoltech. Amazing Yamaguchi. Like they make like Marvel and DC figures, but they have it based off of like their style instead of like a comic book look. Is it that kind of thing? 'Cause if so, that's kind of cool. I can definitely respect that. Yeah, okay. Okay. All right. I can respect that. And that's coming from someone who admittedly has a hard time trying to draw stuff to look like comic book accurate, but like I have kind of like my own style with my art. So yeah, coming from someone who's kind of like that, I can definitely respect that. I think it's cool. I think it's cool. Batman, I can't believe. I know, yeah, that's gonna be cool. There's also talk about there being an absolute Batman animated thing. I'm not sure if it's a movie or a TV show or what it is, but there's going to be an absolute Batman thing coming, which is definitely going to be interesting. I just find it so fun, like how like absolute Batman, like the first comic came out, and then all of a sudden, it's boom, this huge thing of like everyone's like, oh my goodness, absolute Batman is the best thing ever, and admittedly, it was kind of a breath of fresh air for the world of Batman, because I mean this character's been around since 1939. I mean, you eventually start running out of things to do, and so they kind of like did something that's still in line with Batman, but they did something completely different, which I think is really cool. It's also kind of funny to me just how enormous they made Batman. Like they just made him this huge muscular guy. The Batman animated project for any attempts at Batman Who Laughs animated project. Oh yeah. Was there talks about a Batman Who Laughs thing? Because if they were to make a Batman Who Laughs animated project, I really don't know what they would do. Because the character is interesting in concept, but avoid him like a plague. Yeah, I mean, let's face it. There's not really too much to do with a character like that. Of like, yeah, it's Batman turned bad. It's Batman turning into the Joker. And yeah, that's dangerous. That's messed up, and that's about it. There's also kind of a bone to pick that I have with Batman Who Laughs, where his design is very much kind of a ripoff of Judge Death from Judge Dredd. Of like, he looks way too similar to Judge Death. Of like, come on, man, you got to come up with something better than that. I think Judge Death is a really cool character. Y'all can't just take that design and say that it's a Joker version of Batman. Did you see the 2012 Dread movie? Because there was talk about there being like a sequel or a prequel or something like that where it would have involved the Dark Judges, and I was like, yes, I want to see that, and they didn't do that. Because admittedly, Lionsgate they kind of forced themselves in a really bad situation. Because from what I understand, they were banking on the first movie being a success, but it came out right at the same time as the Avengers and The Dark Knight Rises, and they were wondering why it didn't do that well. It's like it's yeah. I am a really big fan of that movie. I think it's really fun. So yeah, but like I said, it's like Lionsgate was like, oh, if it's a success, we'll continue this. Well, they really put it out at a bad time. He had the conclusion to Christopher Nolan's Dark Knight trilogy, huge hype behind that. Then he had the Avengers, which people were skeptical that a movie like that could even be made. And then the movie came out and people were like, oh my goodness, it can be made. It's the best thing ever and all of that. So yeah, it's a little tough. Let's be honest here. They really should have planned that out a little better. But regardless, the movie does have a cult following behind it. There are people that really like it, and yeah, I think it's cool. I think it's cool. I admittedly don't know too much about Judge Dredd, but I know a few of the characters, and I thought that movie was really cool. So yeah. I did see his banking on Doomsday. Yeah. What are your thoughts on Avengers Doomsday? I'm curious to know what you think of that. Do you think it's going to be good? Do you think it's going to be terrible, or whatever it might be? I'm open to any kind of discussion on that. I don't know what I'm doing. I think it's rushed. Yeah, I think that that might be part of the problem. I think it being rushed. That's definitely a factor. Um, I think they're focusing on. Oh my goodness, we got to get all of this together, and we got to do this right now. Because they had plans for the Kang dynasty and all of that, and then there was that whole controversy with Jonathan Majors, and they're like, "Okay, we gotta get rid of all that. We gotta start something new." Who haven't we done yet? Doctor Doom. We should have Doctor Doom. That Kang problem was a factor, but they could have moved into something else, not this big. Yeah, I know. They really should have done something like that. But it seems like they're like, Doctor Doom. Let's have Doctor Doom, and Robert Downey Jr. Let's have Robert Downey Jr. play Doctor Doom. So I feel like they were just kind of like, let's just do this. So yeah, I mean, I don't know. I really don't know. I mean, we kind of saw what happened with the DCEU, where they were like, okay, first movie, Superman movie. Second movie, we're going to do Death of Superman, Dark Knight Returns, introduction to the Justice League, introduction to a really weird version of Lex Luthor, and we're going to do all of that in one movie. And that was their second movie. So like they kind of had a bit of a mess with all of that going forward. So I understand that the MCU didn't start that way, but we can kind of see what happens when they try to do that kind of thing. Of we're just going to keep going, keep going, keep going, keep going, and all of that. So where eventually you start gaining a little bit of quantity, but you might start losing some quality. And I think quality is kind of important with this kind of stuff, because those early movies used to be, huge things. Even the people that knew absolutely nothing about comic books, they're like, that's a really good movie. I really like that one. And so, yeah, it's kind of a problem that we're just focused too much on that, I think. But whatever. I guess we'll see. They made the Blade. It's a failure on their end. Oh man, there's gonna be. I know there was talk about a Blade project. I know that they're thinking of like remaking it and like having someone else in the role. And then when they brought Wesley Snipes back for Deadpool and Wolverine, they're like, ah, no, let's just make a fourth movie with him in it. And I didn't hear anything else with that. So yeah, I'm not entirely sure what the situation is with that, but so that movie never left off. Yeah, yeah. Well, I don't know. I don't know. See what happens. I mean, Medley, I'm still sitting here waiting for there to be a new Spawn movie. Like, oh, you watched Supergirl last month. What did you think of it? I haven't heard the best things from it. I mean, I did eventually see Superman, and I thought that one was all right, but I haven't yet seen Supergirl. I have heard some mixed things about the movie. The one thing that I did hear was good is Jason Momoa as Lobo. I heard that that's pretty cool. Like him being brought in that, which I don't know why it took them so long to cast him in the role of Lobo. I feel like he would have been a better fit if they had just done that instead of making him Aquaman. Is this the worst movie or the best? Changes they did from the source material. Okay, yeah, that's kind of what I heard. Is that they took like a loose inspiration from the Woman of Tomorrow comic, and they're like, ah, we're just gonna take that, but also do our own thing. The main villain is just a jobber. Yeah. Um. There's a there's a YouTuber that really goes in depth with stuff like that, and he was really talking crap about the main villain for that movie of like this character is not good at all. Um, but yeah, so yeah, I mean, I haven't seen it, and when I heard the reception of it, is like, I don't know. I really don't know. Um, though I did see last night. I did see the trailer for Lanterns, and I think that could be cool. We get John Stewart like kind of going into the role of becoming the main Green Lantern. I say that's cool. It's got Sinestro in it as like a background character, from what I can tell. That's gonna be cool. I like, or it could be cool. For all I know, the trailer has like the best moments in it, and the rest of it is not good. I mean, we have seen that sort of effect before, but yeah, I don't know. I think they even changed the Manhunters. Yeah, yeah, it seems like they kind of did. I mean, I'm not entirely sure. Like I said, I mean, it could be cool. It could be, like I said, it could be a thing of like search and shape. Yeah, they did show off some shape shifting with that, which admittedly, I don't know what that's about. I mean, I feel like yeah, the Manhunters, that's kind of a cool direction to take the Green Lantern, take like a Green Lantern thing, but oh yeah, kind of. Um but for me, I feel like you want to have something like that explored. Green Lantern, the animated series, already did something like that, and I thought that was sufficient. Um, but for me, I feel like the other Lantern cores are so interesting on their own. Focus on that. Focus on like a civil war between like the green and blue lanterns versus like the yellow and red lanterns. You know, something like that. I think that could be more interesting instead of just focusing on yeah, the Guardians. They messed up by making those robots. That was not good. Which yeah, it wasn't good on their part, but there are more stories to be told than that. So maybe their plan is this is just the first story, and if this does well, they're going to make another one that's going to focus on something else. I don't know what their plan is. I really don't know, but if Jessica Cruz gets involved in some way, I think that would be cool because I'm a big Jessica Cruz fan. John Stewart and Jessica Cruz are my favorite of the Green Lanterns. Um, but yeah, I don't know. I don't know. Maybe it'll be good. Maybe not. I'm not entirely sure. What I do know, though, is that I don't have HBO Max, so, I revealed the way of comic line figures. Yep. Yep. Yeah, they're going to be making a Rancor figure, which I think is kind of cool. Which I'm still saying, where is Bleeze? Like, when you think of Red Lanterns, I feel like Bleeze is like one of the, oh, okay, yeah, Secret Invasion. I haven't seen Secret Invasion, but I've heard, not so good things about that. But yeah, with the Red Lantern figures, they've made an Atrocitus. They initially made him as a Build-A-Figure, but then it's like, okay, who's another really iconic Red Lantern? I'd say Bleeze, and they haven't made a figure of her yet. I don't know why, because that would be a really cool figure. But they're making a Rancor, which is kind of cool. It's just he's not as well known. But whatever. I don't know. I guess I just like Bleeze. I think she's cool with her skeleton wings and like the bat ear like mask that she has on. I think she's cool. But yeah, that's true. I did kind of forget about that. McFarlane announced a whole bunch of Lantern figures, which is kind of cool. Hopefully they don't drop the ball with those like they kind of did with the Jessica Cruz figure, because I gotta say thank you for reviewing that figure, because seeing that, it made me be like, oh my goodness, what are they doing? Still no other Yellow Lanterns. Yeah, what's up with that too? They did like a couple Sinestro figures, and that's it. So we could have Caruso, we could have Arkillo, however you're supposed to pronounce that guy's name, the big gray guy. They could have so many figures with that. And then they really could the Jessica Cruz figure, Jessica Cruz Green Lantern. Because when they announced that, I was like, oh, cool, we're finally going to get one of those. And then I saw the pictures and I was like, I don't know. And then I saw your review and I was like, they really dropped the ball on that. Like they even got it messed up of like which finger the ring should be on. Like it should be on the middle finger, and yet they put it over here. Like what's up with that? I don't know what's up with that. And I don't know why, but I went to an antique store like a while ago, and they actually had that figure on display for like $60. Yeah, I don't know what's up with that, with making it difficult to find, but yeah, I went to an antique store and they had that new McFarlane Jessica Cruz figure for like $60. And I was like, okay, I don't know why that's there, but I'm going to leave it right where it is. And that's the same antique store that had a couple of Spawn figures that I picked up back in the day, including my man, Mr. Trevor. Yes, the same antique store that had this also had the Jessica Cruz figure. To my confusion, which yeah, I don't know. I don't know what's up with that, but regardless, I don't know. I just thought it was kind of funny of like of like I've always thought it was weird, like when you go to an antique store and they have stuff that's only like a couple years old. Like I remember back in like, oh man, like 2017, 2018, I went to an antique store and they had stuff for like Batman v Superman and Star Wars The Force Awakens. I was like, this stuff just came out a couple of years ago. Why is this an antique store with stuff from like the early 1900s and late 1800s? Like what's up with that? I thought that was so weird. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know. And yeah, frankly, it's not my job to know. I just notice stuff. I pick up on things. I notice things, and yeah. White Lantern, Eldor, White Lantern, Kyle Rayner, John Stewart. Long-awaited issue of that. Yes, the long-awaited reissue of New 52 Red Hood. That's true. I mean, admittedly, there was that really dumb rule that they had early on with the license where Warner Brothers said that their figures can't include guns. And so they're like, well, we want to have a Red Hood figure, but he can't have guns. So what did they do? They gave him like a crowbar, or they gave him like a knife or something like that. And then that was it. So it is good that they're allowed to go back to that. And it is also cool that with that Red Hood figure, they have an unmasked Jason Todd head. I think that that's kind of cool. So yeah, I might end up getting that actually, provided I can find it for a decent price, because I am a really big fan of the Three Jokers Red Hood. I think this figure is really cool, but I don't know. I'm a big Red Hood fan, so I think it would be kind of cool to have another one here. But yeah, I don't know. We'll see. But yeah. Entered into let's get selected. Okay, what is EQL? I'm not familiar with that. Pop, pop, pop. Oh. Oh, right. I forgot about that kind of thing. Yeah. Yeah. They did. They're doing that, right. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's their way of stopping scalpers, which isn't actually effective. Yeah, and some companies really can't read the room when it comes to scalpers. I mean, NECA proved that a couple years back, and they're going to be proving it again this year, and I don't know what's up with that. But whatever. Yeah, scalpers, that's definitely a very annoying thing. Listening for eBay. Yeah, yeah. I've seen stuff like that too. Of like brand new McFarlane figures, brand new NECA figures, and it's like, oh yeah, sure, I'll sell it to you for like $1 million. It's really annoying. Yeah. I mean, I was kind of hoping that companies like NECA would have learned their lesson, but apparently not. Yeah, whatever. I'm still waiting on that 2-pack that I pre-ordered in March. When is that going to come in? I don't know what's up with that, but regardless, yeah, I was expecting this Red Hood to be. Oh crap! It is. Is it really? I didn't know that. Oh man. Sucks because they want. Oh man, are you serious? That is really dumb. Oh my goodness. Come on, man. They have to know. Oh yeah, that's really like the only way. They have to know. The people that make those, they have to know that those are popular and that they'll be profitable in some way. If they decide to mass produce it, they can probably see of we can make money off of this. And then they do stuff like that. Come on, man. It's times like that that make me want to go over to their headquarters and be like, "What are you doing?" But yeah. Well then, I mean, it's a cool figure, but I personally am not willing to spend an arm and a leg for that. Correct painted color, new 52 look. They haven't mentioned how that will release. Okay. Well, then there's that at least. Yeah. Okay. Well then, I said it's cool, but I personally am not willing to spend an arm and a leg just to get a Red Hood figure. I mean, I already got the Three Jokers one, which is really cool, and I did see not too long ago the Arkham Knight Red Hood figure, which I think is a cool look, and I considered getting it, but I was like, I don't know. Kilowog reissue, STCC exclusive. I did see that. Yeah, I did see that of like, hey, Kilowog, popular character. Guess what? He's going to be an exclusive. Yeah, it's really dumb. I don't know what's up with that. I mean, me personally, I'm not. Yeah. I did see that. Me personally, I don't like like exclusives and things like that. Of here's this really cool thing. You can only get it at one place. And sometimes it's a thing of you can only get it during this window of time. Like, I don't know if you follow Lego news at all, but not too long ago, they made this really big Death Star set. And they had this huge thing, but they had this one part that you had to get as a gift with purchase if you ordered the massive $1,000 Death Star off of Lego's personal website within the first week of it coming out. You could get this little like TIE fighter that could fit into the Death Star hangar. And like if you missed out on shelling out that $1,000 within that first week, well then too bad. You don't get that TIE fighter that fits with it. It's stuff like that that's like, why do you do that? It's clear that people want these things. Why don't you do that? So Batman is going to be a Walmart exclusive. Hope they change their decision on that. It's the amount they can sell that figure. I know. And here's the thing. If they don't change that and they do make it a Walmart exclusive, then the problem with scalping that we've had with all of these other things, that's going to be the case. Only it'll be with a figure that a lot more people will want, I think. Because Absolute Batman is a super popular thing. Like, even the people that don't know anything about comics, they've probably at least seen pictures of this really new, jacked up Batman. And so it'll be a thing of like, if that's the case that they make that a Walmart exclusive, then we're going to see the same exact problem with the scalpers. And yeah, I thought companies were learning their lessons with stuff like that, but apparently not. Yeah. Whatever. Ideally, we wouldn't have to worry about stuff like this, but whatever. Making him an elite edition, so on top of the expensive price in stores. Yeah. Yep. That is most definitely a problem. I really can't say what that is besides the company trying to get more money. I really don't see how else you could say that of like, yeah, it's just what it is, because they didn't used to do stuff like that and now they are, and I don't like it. I really don't like it. But yeah. And especially on top of that, like my Walmart, the Walmart that I'm not too far away from, it's got an issue when it comes to like distribution, that like sometimes it takes forever for stuff to hit store shelves there. And even when they do get it, there's like a couple things, and then that's it. So yeah, I mean, admittedly, I have a similar problem with my local Ross. I mean, I know that you've talked about stuff like, hey, I went to my local Ross and they had all of this stuff, and it just gets me thinking of, ow, my local Ross has nothing. It's got like some like baby toys like for toddlers, and like that's it. And even then, it's not much. They don't have like NECA and McFarlane and Hasbro and all of that. Like I don't know. I don't know. I mean, it's not that I doubt you, because I know that other people have that experience. It's just I don't. I don't. I don't live too far away from two different cross locations, and both of them have that same kind of problem. Maybe, for all I know, maybe it's a thing of they get that and just everyone else is quick to get there and take all the stuff. I don't know what the case is. I don't know if it's just that that store doesn't get stuff, or everyone buys the cool stuff before I can even see it. I don't know what it is, but regardless, I haven't personally seen stuff like that, which kind of bums me out, but at the same time, it's like, it's fine. Because oftentimes the stuff that I am interested in, I can get it somewhere else, so it doesn't bother me too much. But still, it's just I hear stories about like, oh, look at what I got at Ross, and it's like, that's really cool. I'm happy for you, but I haven't seen that. Yep, yeah, I saw that. I saw that too. Yep. Yeah, the comic book Harley Quinn being GameStop exclusive. Yep, they're doing that too. Um, yeah, it's not good. Yeah, Ross distribution is random. Yes, it is. I do understand that, and well, let's face it, Ross first and foremost isn't a toy store. It's a like department store. So I'm sure when those stores talk distribution, their main priority is what clothes can we get, what shoes can we get, what jewelry can we get, what furniture can we get. I'm sure they're thinking about stuff like that before they're thinking about what toys can we get, what collectibles can we get. So I understand that that's kind of a thing going on, but still, it's just I haven't experienced that kind of thing. Testing price hiking the collectibles now. I have actually seen a little bit of that. I have seen a little bit of that. I did go to a Ross that had a couple of things. It wasn't anything I was interested in, but they did have a couple of things, and I was like, wait a minute. This is retail price like at other stores. The main selling point with Ross is that the prices are intentionally set lower. But they didn't do that time with those things. I was like, okay. I don't know what's up with that, but whatever. Maybe it's just for a couple of things. I don't know. I don't know. Like I said, I don't have the Ross experience that other people do, where it's like they just find everything. The two origin figures or $5.99 were priced at $14.99. Yeah, that's kind of what I saw. That's kind of what I saw. Is they had like oh, what was it? They had NECA stuff, but they also had what was it? Was it Spin Master? It might have been Spin Master. They might have had some Spin Master stuff there too, but it was like it was definitely higher than what they normally charge at those types of stores. So I was a little confused by that. I was like, wait a minute, these prices are supposed to be below stuff, but whatever. Whatever. I mean, like I said, it doesn't affect me too much, but I do feel bad for the people that, are going out and looking for stuff like that, and then they see stuff like that to where it's like, yeah, I'm looking for it to be at a lower price, and I can't. So, yeah. Price reduction, luckily, NECA stuff didn't get priced up. Okay. Okay, yeah. I mean, like I said, the NECA stuff that they did have there, it wasn't anything I was interested in. It was like a classic, Universal Monsters Frankenstein. It's like I don't care for those like old school movies and all of that. I'd be more interested in some of their newer stuff, but regardless, but But yeah, they had that. They had like the Frankenstein for like $40, and like $40 is like what you get when you order it off of their website. Universal Monsters for wow, that's pretty good. That's pretty good. Yeah, that's not what that's not what I saw. That sure as crap is not what I saw. So that's really good that you were able to find that. Yeah, I remember seeing those figures not at Ross, but at other stores. And I was like, those are really interesting. Like, why would they go Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles crossed with like old school monsters? Like, I didn't understand it, but I thought it was cool. This is set for. Whoa. Okay. Yeah. Well, considering. Yeah. Yeah. But yeah, considering the only other option was a set of $150 came for 15 each. I think that's pretty good. I think that is pretty good. Pretty good. Yeah, I remember one of the main ones I saw at stores was Donatello as the Invisible Man. I thought that one was kind of cool because he was in like a trench coat and a hat and all of that. Kind of reminded me of the disguises that the turtles have when they go out in public when they wear the big trench coats and the hats. Yeah, yeah, I heard something about that. That's could be a problem because a lot of people are looking for stuff like that, and a lot of people go to NECA for that kind of thing, especially with their track record of them making really good turtle stuff. So if they end up losing that license, that could definitely be a problem. So was taking full. Oh, okay, well, that's well. If Mattel takes full control of that, that could be a problem because I mean, let's face it, the stuff that NECA would do with Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, it was really cool. And if they essentially do this treatment with that, it would be fine, but it wouldn't be the same thing. Cool. Yeah, it would. It really would. I actually haven't seen that movie. There was a movie of Batman versus the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles or something like that. I haven't seen it, but I've heard decent things about it. Um, I don't know. For me, I just thought it was kind of weird. Of like, how would that work? Of these characters merging with these characters, but I don't know. I've heard that it's pretty good. You just kind of have to be ready for the type of movie that it is. So yeah. Show up the rest down the road. Yeah. Yeah. Those last Ronin figures, those are definitely popular. Um, so yeah, that's I don't know. I really can't say that that I would know what the situation is with that. I mean, they could show up, they could not show up. I really don't know. Casey and April 2 packs. Oh yeah. Yeah, I haven't seen those in person, but I do know what you're talking about. is going on right there? I don't know if you can hear it, but there's either like construction going on outside, or there's like a dog barking. I really can't tell which it is. $30. Well, $30 for a 2-pack? That's not bad. That's not bad. I mean, considering like normal standard, like buying it off of the NECA store, that would be probably like 60 to 70, somewhere around there. So I was just confused. I was like, what is that? Is that a dog, or is it someone like drilling a hole in the ground? I don't know. I don't know what it is. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, the road that's back that way, that's got a history of a lot of construction. They'll tear up the road and rebuild part of it, and then they'll just do it again. Seen most of your NECA reviews for the. Yeah. That's the main thing that I've been getting into recently. And some of them have really pleasantly surprised me. Like some of them I knew would be good, but then you got. Let me pull them off the shelf. You got this guy, who admittedly, when I first saw this, I was like, oh, that's kind of cool that they made Michael Myers based off of Halloween Resurrection. That's kind of cool. But then when I actually looked at this figure more closely, I was like, I don't know what it is, but this is really good. And I got it out of the box, and I was like fiddling around with it, and I was like, this is a really good one. And also like I don't know if you're too familiar with the Halloween series or not, but basically this character, as simple as the design is, this character has gone through so many different looks throughout the different movies, but like if you just like hold this figure like from a distance, it kind of looks similar to his look from the first movie, which is kind of cool because we don't have an ultimate of the first movie. I'm sure it's a licensing thing and people really want that, but we haven't gotten it yet. But yeah, they're fun. They're cool. I like them a lot, which is why I was really looking forward to what NECA was going to show off at Comic-Con. So I was like, all right, we got some new stuff coming, and technically yes, but it's not what I was expecting. I don't know why, but I had this like whole mental list of they could do this, they could do this. Yeah, they did. They did, yeah. They revealed Samurai Ghostface. They also did a similar thing with Leatherface from Texas Chainsaw Massacre and Jason from Friday the 13th. Didn't know Michael Myers decided to change throughout the movies. I know. That's the thing that I really don't get, is that it's such a simple design. It's like a mechanic jumpsuit and a white mask. And yet I don't know. It's kind of funny to me because what they did for the first movie is they took a William Shatner Captain Kirk mask. They dyed the hair, they cut out the eye holes to be bigger, and then they painted the face to be white, and they're like, oh, that's perfect. So they did that, and it made for an iconic look. And then when they made the second movie a few years later, they used the same mask from the first movie, but it had aged really poorly. So even though it's the same mask from the first movie, it doesn't look the same. So it looks off. And also the actor who played Michael Myers was a different actor between the two movies, and the actor who played him in the second movie had a different shaped head. So the mask fit differently. So it gave a really weird look. And then for the fourth movie, they just remade it again using a similar thing. They took a Captain Kirk mask and then they changed it up. But they went too far into the direction of making it like blank and featureless to where it's just there's no design or detail at all, and people make fun of it because it looks so blank. Which I personally don't mind it all that much, but there are people that really don't like the look in the fourth movie at all. And then for the fifth movie, they did something similar, but they kind of leaned more into it. And I personally don't mind the look of the fifth movie, but people say that in the fifth movie, he doesn't look like William Shatner. He looks like Nicolas Cage. So there was that. And then there was the sixth movie that they went in a similar direction to what they did with the first movie, but personally, I didn't like the look of it. I know that's a controversial opinion because some people really like the look from the sixth movie, but that's not the case. And then for the seventh movie, like, y'all want to talk about different looks. Michael Myers has 4 different looks in the seventh movie. He's got the same jumpsuit consistently throughout the whole movie, but he's got 4 different masks. And it's especially noticeable if you have like a really good like Blu-ray or even the 4K. Like, you can just pause the movie at different points and notice he's wearing a different mask in this scene than he was in the previous scene. I don't know what's up with that. And then Halloween Resurrection, they went with a completely different look with that, where they tried to make it like they tried to focus too much on the details and all that. It almost looks like he's wearing makeup. And then for the 2 Rob Zombie movies, they were like, let's make it look gritty and grimy and all of that. And I really like what they did with that. And then with the David Gordon Green trilogy, they went with the similar route, but they just had one mask that looks continually more deteriorated because it's meant to be the same mask from 1978. So, yeah. And in regards to the third movie, he's not in the third movie. The third movie is completely disconnected from all the other stuff, which was the intention. That was what they wanted to do. And then when it was terribly received, they're like, that didn't work. We got to course correct and all of that. But yeah, I really don't get why designing that one character is so complicated. I mean, they've finally gotten a point because you had one guy that was the creative control of the 9th and 10th movie. And so he was like, okay, I have a specific look in mind for this character. And so if you have the remake and then the sequel to that, you have those 2 movies, it looks consistent. And then you have the David Gordon Green trilogy of Halloween 2018, Halloween Kills, and Halloween Ends. It looks consistent with those. He just looks more and more beat up and deteriorated as the movies go on because he doesn't change his look throughout those 3 movies. So when he gets beaten up and all of that, he takes the damage and he doesn't clean himself up or anything like that. But yeah, it's especially weird when you go to the Thorn trilogy of 4, 5, and 6, and then you go to H2O, the 7th movie, and it's a different continuity. But it's also a different mask. Like, what? Why are there 4 different looks for him in one movie? It's such a simple design. I don't know why they had such a hard time figuring that out back in the day. I don't know. I kind of think it's fun. But yeah, it's funny though that like you talk about that series to someone who doesn't know much about it, and they'll look at you like you're crazy. Of like, what do you mean there are 4 or 5 different timelines to where some movies are considered canon and some movies aren't considered canon, and the mask looks different throughout all the movies, and some characters exist in all the timelines, some characters only exist in 1 or 2 timelines, and then you had other stuff too of like, it's really complicated. Now, for me, I follow it, I track it, I don't find it hard to understand at all, but I was talking with someone, this was a while back, I was talking with someone back in October last year about the Halloween franchise, because it's someone who likes watching the original movie on Halloween, which makes sense because the movie's called Halloween. But I was explaining of like, oh yeah, that's really complicated because you have the one timeline that's 1, 2, 4, 5, 6. You have one timeline that's 1, 2, 7, 8. One timeline that's 1. And then you jump to 11, 12, and 13. You have the 9th and 10th movies that stand on their own. And the third movie is disconnected from all of that. And even then, people have like different headcanons about what happens with that. Like with the 4th movie, people pretend of 5 and 6 didn't happen. It ended with the ending of Halloween 4. Because it ended on a cliffhanger, and people liked that direction. Then there were people that didn't like the 8th movie, so they're like, oh no, it ends with the ending of H2O. There is no Halloween Resurrection. So it's like, it's fun. But yeah, and depending upon who you ask, like different fans of the series, they'll have their different tastes when it comes to, oh yeah, this one's my favorite or this one's my least favorite, whatever it might be. So it's always fun having stuff like that. And then it's also interesting that Texas Chainsaw Massacre has a similar problem too. Like you would think that a simple story about a family of cannibals, like that'd be really straightforward, but no, they have a similar continuity problem. To where the first four movies are a loose continuity to where they're all kind of similar. Then you have the fifth and sixth movie. The fifth one was a remake of the original, and then the sixth one was a prequel to the remake. So those two are on their own. And then you have one where you take the original movie, but then they made a prequel to the original, and then they made a sequel to that came out after, or they came out before the prequel did. And they had one that's just the original movie, and then a movie that came out in 2022. So, yeah, and there's talk about there being a new Texas Chainsaw Massacre movie. And so if that's the case, that's probably going to be a different continuity. And so there will be a fifth timeline with that one too. It's fun. I think it's fun, though it does reflect that sometimes people making creative decisions, they don't know what they're doing. Because admittedly, the whole reason of those different timelines and continuities and movies being discounted and all that, the whole reason that's a thing in the first place is because of how they mishandle the IP in the first place and how people get like thrown off of. I don't like that. Change that. And so they're like, okay, we'll change it, and then they don't know what to do. And they make so many movies for a franchise that lose themselves since subject of horror. What are your thoughts on Clayface? Ah, yes, the Clayface trailer. Well, I'm interested to see what they end up doing with that because I'm a fan of Clayface. I mean, he is one of my favorite Batman villains. It's cool. And when they announced that they were going to make a solo movie and they were going to go in a horror direction with that, I was like, well, that makes sense because the origin for Clayface is that he was an actor in a horror movie and then he got cut from the part and then he went insane because of that. That was the original story that they did before he was a giant mud man with shape-shifting powers. You know, back before all of that happened. That was the foundation of his character. So I thought that would be kind of cool. And so when I saw the trailer, I was like, this could be interesting. Now, it could like be really bad or it could be really good. I'm really not sure, but I'll just have to wait and see what other people say, because sometimes people get to see the movie early and then they review about it of here's what I thought, spoiler free. I saw the movie early and here's how it went down. So if I hear good things about it, then I'll definitely check it out. But yeah, I think it could be cool. I mean, like, come on, man, this is Clayface we're talking about. Yes. Oh my goodness, I'm a really big fan of this figure. I can't tell you the amount of times that I've just taken this out and just played with this feature of like, he has a big face, now he has a little face. It's like messing with the hammer feature and all of that. It's like is cool. It's cool. I said I'm a little optimistic about what Mattel's got. I say a little because, well, if they keep making stuff like this, that'd be cool, but they might eventually run out of steam. And then if they try to go a McFarlane route, well, that could go well. It could not go well. I don't know. I know there's talk about there being a collector grade because, like, this is, like, more targeted toward kids, but they're going to have something that's more targeted toward adults. Basically, the people that collect McFarlane stuff, they're going to be, there's talk about there being a wave that's like that. And if that's the case, then that might be good, might be bad. I don't know, frankly. I've heard good things about Mattel's wrestling figures, but I don't know anything about wrestling. And so I've seen those figures on store shelves and I was like, okay, I have no idea who this character is, but the figure looks good. So, yeah, it could be interesting. I'm really not sure because I know that there were people back. I remember back when they first made the announcement of McFarlane losing the DC license and Mattel taking it back, all of a sudden these factions formed of people that were like, yes, finally we can get something good because we don't like McFarlane. Then you had other people that were like, but I like McFarlane and I don't like Mattel, and if Mattel goes back to what they used to make, we're screwed and all of that. And yeah, I mean they have a point, because if Mattel just goes back to making stuff like this and they're like, all right, here's this, you can have this for $30. It's like, yeah, then we'll have problems. But I will say, one of the things with the core line, they understand what this is. They priced this appropriately, I think. Like these figures, like the Flash in particular, the Flash is $13. And he comes with a whole bunch of accessories and new sculpt and all of that. And I think that that's pretty cool. So they understand that, like, we can't charge like $1 million for this and expect people to buy it. So there's that. But like I said, I guess the jury's still out on their collector grade wave, if that's even a thing. I just heard a rumor of them doing it. I don't know if they're going to do it or not. I mean, I still have yet to see Mattel do anything at Comic-Con besides Masters of the Universe stuff. Like I've seen their Motu stuff. I've seen plenty of Motu stuff, but in terms of like DC stuff, I haven't seen anything from Mattel. So I have no idea if they're planning on continuing what they did with DC Multiverse, or if they just plan on doing more core stuff. I don't know. I really don't know. But yeah. And like I said, I've heard good things about the wrestling figures. So if they make DC stuff like the wrestling stuff, I think people will be happy. It's just, I have no personal say on the matter one way or another. I can't say whether it's a good thing or a bad thing, because I really don't know. I really don't know. Exactly. Yes, people can absolutely like what they like. You see, the problem is that some people get like so caught up in their opinion that they essentially see anything against their opinion as like a personal attack. It's like that Brie Larson meme. Is that like a personal attack or something? Imagine if Jada Toys made DC figures. That would be cool. That would be really cool. I think that would make a lot of people happy, especially because Jada, like with their Street Fighter and their Invincible stuff, it has kind of like a more of a cartoonish type look to it. Imagine if Jada made stuff based off of like Batman the Animated Series, or like the Batman from 2004. Like if they did like cartoon Batman stuff, I think that would be really cool. I think that could be really cool if they were to do that. I mean, I don't know what the plan is. I mean, I know there was talk back in the day. This was like a couple years ago, and I don't think anything became of it. But I know there was talk of Jada potentially making Mortal Kombat figures. I was like, hey, cool, the Street Fighter guy's making Mortal Kombat figures. That'd be really cool. But considering McFarlane has showcased some new Mortal Kombat stuff, I don't think that ended up happening. Or at the very least, Jada hasn't done anything with it. But I think it would be kind of cool for Jada to make Mortal Kombat stuff. I think that could be fun. Especially if, because they're already making Street Fighter stuff. If you want to have like Mortal Kombat versus Street Fighter, you could do that. And I know there are people that want that game to be made. So like, you could have something kind of similar. Like you can make up your own stories with stop motion and stuff like that. We'll be making 7-inch Marvel action figures. It won't be often. Interesting. Okay. Interesting. So, well, if they end up doing that, then I guess that would kind of fill the void for what we lost with Marvel Select. I think they're going to go the same level of detail and all that the Marvel Select had? Probably not. But I, for one, would be interested in something like that because, you already have, things like this, which is, these scale pretty well together and all of that. So like, I could see something like that happening. I would be okay with that, especially with Todd McFarlane being the guy whose name is on the box and all of that. I think that would especially be cool if like McFarlane made figures based off of McFarlane Spider-Man. Like I know they've made statues of McFarlane Spider-Man and all that, but like, come on, man, just picture like them making like a Spider-Man wave of like you get Spider-Man, you get Venom, you get Mysterio, you get Hobgoblin, like something like that. Like like the characters that Todd specifically had to say in designing when he helmed the Spider-Man stuff. I think that would be really cool. Like, come on, man, just hold on. Because for me, I for one am a really big fan of. This was rumored. The only character not sure if it's true. That would be yeah. That would be really cool. But like, just imagine if they made action figures based off of something like this. And again, I know they made statues, and Todd has said before of like, it's really hard to take something like this and put it into a 3D model because when he was drawing Spider-Man, he didn't think about anatomy and all of that. But like, just imagine of like this kind of character design, and like this type of character design, and this type of character design. Like, imagine stuff like that, and also like his drawing of Lizard, how he looks like this, enormous dinosaur creature with like this giant mouth and all of that. Like, imagine if they were to make figures of that. That would be really cool. That would be really cool. Though, admittedly, if they were to do that, I don't see how we could avoid the price issue that we currently have with all the other stuff that they're making. So it would be cool, but in practice, I don't know. I don't know. But yeah, we'll see. We'll see what happens. And I, for one, would would think it would be cool. So yeah, I don't know. I mean, I do know this. I was like in an interview that Todd did like a couple years back. People were asking him of like, what do you want to do with like your company or the character of Spawn or anything like that? And he was like, one thing that I really want to do is write a comic that has Spawn and Spider-Man versus Venom and Violator. Like have a story of that, of like Spawn and Spider-Man working together and all of that. I think that would be really cool. I mean I think that story would kind of write itself, I think, especially because the original idea that Todd had for the character of Venom, because when Venom became the lethal protector, he was like, no, that's not what I wanted to do with the character and all of that, because he was originally thinking of essentially Venom would be to Spider-Man what the Joker is to Batman. To like it's his arch nemesis, like hands down, he is the number one villain there. So like that was his plan. And so doing something like that and having him teamed up with Violator and all of that, and then having Spawn and Spider-Man working together, because the characters are so different, like from a moral standpoint, because Spawn has no problem killing people and Spider-Man is very much against killing people unless he's under the influence of the symbiote or whatever. So I think that could be a really interesting story. Now, Todd himself even said that he wasn't sure if that was going to happen or not. So that would really be too bad if it doesn't end up happening, but I don't know. I don't know. I really don't know. So we'll have to wait and see. A few months falling back into Transformers, rabbit hole, prices, and number from Hasbro. Wow. Yeah, but like I said earlier, I don't know why Hasbro keeps charging so much money for those kinds of things, because they're arguably like one of the biggest toy companies in the whole world, if not number one in that regard. So I don't know why they keep saying of like, hey, here's this. We're gonna charge you really stupid amount of money for it. But I have heard good things about with Transformers. I've heard good things about other companies. Can't think of their names off the top of my head, but I know that there are other companies that make Transformer stuff, and I've heard good things from them. So maybe you have say in that. Like who else makes good Transformer stuff besides Hasbro? I know at least there used to be a couple other companies that would do stuff like that. Admittedly, I know very little about Transformers. I used to be 3-0. They're super expensive. Okay, yeah. Well, that would probably be why I've heard good things about it. Is the stuff that's like really pricey? There's a reason for it. Okay, look at like Hot Toys and Mondo and stuff like that. To like, their stuff is expensive, but at least there's a reason behind it. So yeah, it's probably something similar would be my guess. But didn't you say that Blockies has like model kits for like Transformers? You got like an Optimus Prime thing, and you thought that was kind of cool. So maybe there's stuff like that. So yeah, I mean, like I said, I'm not really the person to ask when it comes to Transformer stuff. I know very little about that. I used to be really into that when I was younger, like when I was really young. But then my knowledge of that just went. So yeah, I could only name like a handful of characters probably, and yeah, that'd be kind of pushing my knowledge when it comes to Transformer stuff. But yeah, I mean, like I said, I guess if Blockies is making good stuff, then there's that. As far as his good machine stuff going, yeah. Mm-hmm. Yep, that's oh man, yeah. I totally get that. But yeah, I don't know. I really don't know what to say when it comes to stuff like that. Yeah. Oh, they don't. Okay. So is it a thing of like when you put the model kit together, it just has one look? Or is it a thing of like you get the model kit and you can make it to be either the vehicle model or the robot model? Like I think that would be kind of an interesting concept if they do that. That would incentivize you to buy two of them. So you could have like a transformed one and then a not transformed one. I think that would be kind of cool. So yeah, I don't know. Yeah. Yeah, I kind of figured that it would be something like that because, admittedly, with that kind of stuff, they do have, yeah. Because in all fairness, like designing a big humanoid robot would involve a lot of different parts compared to building a vehicle. So I guess I understand why they would do something like that. But like I said, I think if there's a market and all of that, then why don't they make a model kit of the vehicle version of those characters or the weapon version or whatever? I know that there are transformers that transform into stuff other than vehicles. I think that would be kind of cool because you could have people that would be like, hey, I'm gonna get both of these because I want to have both versions of the character. I think that'd be cool. So if they don't do that already, I think it might be a good idea for them to do it. It's just tough because it's like the people that buy these kinds of things, we know what we want from stuff like this, and yet we can't exactly talk to the company and be like, "Hey, can you do this?" We can't exactly do it. I mean, we can post videos like this, and we could be like, "Hey, here's what I think about the matter," and yeah, I mean, sometimes they gain traction and all of that. But yeah, it's not like we can just go there and be like, hey, here are the decisions you can make because we know what we want. That would be really cool if we could do that, but that's not quite how it works, unfortunately. But regardless. Join a wait list for the. Ooh, okay. Okay. Yeah. Oh. Oh my goodness. Ow. All right. Yeah. So wait list for that. Yeah. That's the thing is that sometimes you gotta be put on wait lists and things like that of like it's tough because when we collect stuff like this, the idea is like I want this in my collection and something I don't want to wait. And I'd like to say that uh-huh. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Um what was I gonna say? I was gonna say something. Um I don't remember. I'm sure that's happened to you before when you're gonna say something and then you're like, what's I gonna say? Like I know that's kind of a stereotype with older people, but I'm not yeah, yep. That's definitely it's definitely a thing, yep. Hmm. I'm I am well familiar with FOMO. I actually I went to school for psychology in part and I actually wrote a paper on FOMO. And I actually got feedback from my teacher of like, I don't want you to use slang in your research papers and things like that. It's like, it's not really slang. I'm just making a point, and this is a thing that's real. um, but yeah, yeah, there is definitely a thing that a thing to be said about that. Of I want to get this, but I don't know if I don't know if I fully want to get it. But I am worried that if I don't get it, then I'll be lacking something. So yeah, um, but whatever it whatever it might be, yeah. Ay, uh, but yeah, I'm still trying to figure out. Uh-huh. Yep, that can affect everyone. It really can. What I do is I one thing that helps me. Yep, I definitely understand that. Um, one thing that helps me is I look at well, for one, I look at the collection that I currently have, and I just be like, okay, so what do I think I'm missing? What do I think I could add to it? And then I look at it as, you know, okay, so what am I missing? What would I like to have? And I look to see of do do I have an opportunity to get that? Like, is it something that already exists, or is it something that hasn't existed yet? And if it's something that that hasn't existed yet, then I look at and I look into it and be like, okay, is it with this thing that I could get on the aftermarket, or I could get it now? Would it be worth it? And so I have this whole metric system. I've been meaning to post a video about this. I just I had an idea for it and I lost the words for it, but I had an idea of making a video where I basically talk about the process that I go through when I decide to add something to my collection with action figures, with movies, whatever it might be. Because I like collecting physical releases of movies. I don't get them digitally or anything like that. But yeah, with physical releases of movies too, it's like, well, I have kind of a process with that. So I've been meaning to make that into a video. It's just I forgot what I was going to say with that. It was like, this is gonna be really good. What? How was I going to put that again? I was like, I couldn't really remember that. But yeah, essentially, I have limits to I give myself limits to where, like, one of them is a monetary limit to where I can't spend more than this amount of money, and that's like for a month. Okay, so like for a monthly budget, I can't exceed this much. And so from there, I have to determine of like, well, what should I get? And then I like prioritize things. If I have a whole list of things that I want to get, I prioritize them of what are things that I absolutely have to get right now, of like this has to be added to my collection like tomorrow. And then what are things to where it's like, okay, that would be kind of cool, but I could wait. I could get it now. I could wait. I really don't care either way. And then there are some things to where it's like, that would be cool to have, but I am in no rush to get that. And if I don't get that until like 10 years from now, that's fine by me. So I just kind of evaluate it like that. And yeah, just kind of combine that with the monetary thing. But another thing I look at is just the overall quality of the product, to where if I'm looking for something and I don't think it quite delivers, then I don't consider getting it. Like an example would be the Jessica Cruz Green Lantern. I would like to have a Jessica Cruz Green Lantern on my shelf for DC figures. But then when I saw what McFarlane put out, I was like, I don't I don't I don't really want to get that, because I want to have something that's good and not something that fills a space. So I kind of use that as a system as well. Because I do stuff like that, because if I didn't, then I would have like mountains of stuff and I'd spend like $1 million. Like, I don't have $1 million, but like I'd spend like way more money on stuff like that than I can afford. So I give myself limits like that to where I realize of what's really worth it in the end. And yeah, I mean that's helped me as of recently. So yeah, that's just kind of the advice that I got. And like I said, at some point I'll gather all my thoughts together and make a video where I properly go into that. But for right now, I don't have all of the ideas quite lined up yet. I'd have like a couple ideas, and I'm like, I'm gonna make that video, and then I either forget, or I'm like, I could really make another point, but I don't know what that other point is. So yeah, so yeah. Regardless, that's what I can think of off the top of my head. I hope that helps in some regard. Maybe, maybe not. I don't know. I don't know. Not exactly. Don't exactly have the most experience when it comes to giving people advice. Yeah, I agree. I should absolutely do it. It's just I don't know what to say. Because I don't want to put a video out there just of me rambling, because, well, I do too much of that in my personal life. Or just talking with people at work. It's just I go on and on and on, and it's like, well, that doesn't really go anywhere. And sometimes I even notice I start doing that in my videos, and I'm like, hey, so many things I want dropped in such close time frame. Yep, that is part of the problem. Um, so yeah, yeah. Like I said, at some point I'll get everything figured out and I'll be like, hey, I'm going to post that video now because I know what I'm going to say. And I guess until I do that, I guess stay tuned because yeah, trust me, I want to make that video too. I just don't exactly know what I would say, but yeah, at the very least, I do know that one thing that helped me back when I was really close to making that video was I just got stuff out and I was like, I can talk about this figure, so I'm going to include that. So I could do that. That is most definitely an option for me to do. All right, I can talk about this one. Oh my goodness, stuff is falling over. I'm sure you've had that problem before, to where you grab something off the shelf and then everything else just goes. It falls down. Oh my goodness, what did I just do? I don't know what I just did. I don't know. I will re-explore that sort of topic. Another day. Another day, another time. All of that. All of those things. All of those things. Hey, nice. Hey, that's good. I mean, I there are times where I get burnout and I'm like, I don't want to record a video today and all of that. So I totally get it. And so there are times. Yep, that will do it. That will definitely do it. Yeah, I got a new job not too long ago, and that kind of took a hit to my video output and all of that. Not only recording videos, but also uh, publishing them and posting them and all of that. So yeah, I totally get that. So yeah. I don't know who that is. No. I know some obscure DC characters, but I don't know that one. Yeah, no. I mean, if they make a Blitzkrieg or a Misfit figure, I'll be like, oh, I know who that is. But are they going to do that? Let's face it, they won't. They won't do that. Yeah, if they do that, they make an Alice Tesla figure. I'm sure most people will be like, who is that? And I will be like the entire person on the planet who'll be like, me, I know who that is. um, but yeah, I mean, I'm sure there are some characters where there are like older fans or people that just like the older comics in general, or some people that like the more obscure comics or more recent comics or whatever it might be. They're basically characters that not everyone is familiar with, and all of that. Ah, yes. Yes, I am familiar with Saturn Girl, and I'm also familiar with that figure. Um so yeah, that will be kind of cool. And yeah, I know they'll sadly never finish oh, why am I blanking on the name? The Legion of Superheroes, right? The Legion of Superheroes. I think that's the name of the team. yeah, Legion of Superheroes cartoon. I think I remember that, but I'm not entirely sure. I mean, when it comes to like superhero cartoons and stuff like that, whether it's old or new or whatever it might be, I'm really not I'm really not an expert on stuff like that because you see, when I was growing up, I didn't have cable, so I couldn't watch stuff like Cartoon Network or Nickelodeon or anything like that. And so all of the big name stuff that some people grew up with, like Justice League, the animated series, or Star Wars, the Clone Wars, and all that, I didn't grow up with that. I didn't. I mainly grew up on YouTube and especially a channel that well, the channel still exists, but the content that I grew up on doesn't exist anymore. um, so yeah, so stuff like that, and then like I already shared my story with Invincible, to where after season one, I just never checked it out again, and then yeah, I mean, I know Batman the animated series, I know X-Men the animated series, I know Spider-Man the animated series, the one from the 90s. I know some of those, and I am familiar with Clone Wars. I didn't grow up with it. So yeah, so like I know a little bit about some of that stuff, but in general, yeah, I'm not the person to ask when it comes to superhero cartoons or anything like that, because chances are I've never seen it. uh, but that's okay. I grew up on superhero movies. One of the first movies that I ever remember watching was Sam Raimi's first Spider-Man movie from 2002. That's one of the first movies I ever remember seeing. Interesting art style. I had Superman X. So okay, okay. Um, but yeah. So like I said, superhero movies. Yeah, I can talk about superhero movies. Um, like I said, I grew up on the Sam Raimi Spider-Man movies. What else did I grow up on? I grew up on Star Wars, both the original and the prequel trilogy. What else was there? The Christopher Reeve Superman movies. So all four of those, for better or for worse. Though I never actually saw the Donner cut of Superman 2 until a couple years back. I only ever knew the Lester cut, and if you ask me, I mostly prefer the Donner cut over the Lester cut. The only thing I think the Lester cut does better is the ending. But regardless, there was that. What else? What else did I grow up on? For super, that was my first Superman movie. Spider-Man movie cover on the box scared me. I knew nothing about the character. Oh yeah, of him crawling ball. Actually, hold on. Yep, I'm well familiar with this, and especially with the music, like theme by Danny Elfman. This movie was my introduction to Danny Elfman, and it's really no secret that he became my favorite composer because his work on Spider-Man is really cool, but also like his work on Batman, is really cool. Um, but yeah, I have not looked at this box in a really long time. Ooh, it's got a chapter insert, Green Goblin on it. Nice, nice. See, that's another thing that we don't get enough of is stuff like this. Like, come on, man. These are cool. They don't really do stuff like that anymore. Yeah. So yeah, this is actually the second movie I ever remember watching. I have the first three movies I ever remember watching. I know what they are, and then beyond that, I don't know. So this was the second movie I ever remember watching. And yeah, the other two aren't exactly superhero movies or whatever. Um, but this was my first superhero movie, and yeah, Spider-Man kind of became my favorite superhero not too long after that. So needed today. Can't believe companies are pushing all this for digital only. Well, I mean, if that is the case. I mean, Best Buy. That was like a year or two ago. The Best Buy announced that they weren't going to be carrying physical media anymore, and then Meyer actually stopped carrying physical media before Best Buy did. And so really my only shot to get physical media, well my in terms of like new stuff, I'd say Walmart and Amazon. I get my physical media from there if it's new. And if it's old, my best bet is off of eBay. So yeah, I think that those are fine. Um, but I am glad that some stuff did get a physical release, like Obsession. Like counting down the days to when Obsession got a physical release, and when the street date of when it there, I went to Walmart. Sure enough, they had a whole bunch of copies of it, and I grabbed a Blu-ray right off the. I actually don't have a 4K player, so Blu-ray and DVD. That's all I got. I don't have a 4K of anything. Um, I wouldn't be opposed to getting a 4K player in the future, but I'm not too concerned about that because my Blu-ray player works perfectly fine, and to be honest, I don't care too much about an increase in quality. Though that being said, I actually do remember when Blu-rays first started coming out. And I remember being confused, but also really optimistic about it because I was young, and so I was like, "You're telling me that there's going to be a thing that's like DVD, but it's better quality? How is that even possible?" I remember that, and then I remember getting stuff on Blu-ray, and if I remember correctly, could be mistaken on this, but one of the first Blu-rays that my family ever got was of let's see here. There was I think the first one that was of oh, I don't remember which one it was, but it was one of the Pirates of the Caribbean movies. And yes, I say Caribbean. My whole life growing up, I got bullied left, right, and center for not saying Caribbean, but I say Caribbean. But regardless, pirates, Johnny Depp, Jack Sparrow. Ah! I think that was, I don't remember which one it was. It might have been the first movie, Curse of the Black Pearl. That might have been the first Blu-ray that I ever saw. I think it was. That was an experience. I was like, oh, oh my goodness, this quality is so good. It was very easy to impress back in the day, apparently. Um, but yeah, this is cool. Like pulling this up, especially at the back of Peter and MJ kissing, even though she doesn't yet know it's Peter Parker. This movie is pretty good. Holy crap! I have been live for 2 hours. How did that happen? I felt like I just started. I've been going for 2 hours. Wow, that's interesting. Outside about this movie. Yeah, exactly. That's why a lot of people prefer getting it on physical release because that's one part of it is they don't want to lose it. Another thing is they don't want it to be censored because sometimes like the streaming services will censor parts of the movie that don't necessarily have to be censored. Yeah. Now sometimes, yeah, I get it. Other times I don't get it, and so there are things like that where they change the movie and all that. And yeah, and there's also a thing of like if your internet's down, then you can't really watch the movie. Whereas if you have a physical release, you can just open the box, you can take the disc, put it in there, and you can watch the movie. No questions asked. No problem there. Yeah, that can definitely be a problem. Is stuff like that, to where, because there are some companies that are like, oh, this is just not profitable anymore. We're just not going to do it, and so then you run into problems like that, to where it's like, I want that though. Why can't I have that? Um, but yeah, whatever it might be. I cannot believe I've been live for 2 hours. That is something else. That's crazy. I didn't know I could talk about something for that long. I guess I've talked about a variety of topics. It hasn't just been one thing the whole time. RDJ Doom voice isn't bad. Yeah, I mean, I think Robert Downey Jr. as Doom is just a weird choice in general. Like, I understand why they're doing it, but at the same time, that's not exactly the most comic book accurate thing to do for Victor Von Doom and, Latveria and all of that. I mean, he's not my choice for Doctor Doom, but then again, I don't know who would be. Um, but yeah, good old Robert Downey Jr. Iron Man. I am Iron Man. That's a good movie. I really like the first Iron Man movie. And I know I'm in the minority, but I also liked Iron Man 3. And I have some wild takes when it comes to movie taste. MC. Yeah, that's yeah. It's not quite the same thing. Yeah, I actually liked Iron Man 3. I know a lot of people like can't stand that movie, and I guess I get it. But for me, I thought it was fun and also an interesting direction to take the character. Though, admittedly, I will say that what they did with the character of the Mandarin was really weird. Like, I don't know why they did that, to where it's like, ah, yes, he's not a Chinese guy. He's a Middle Eastern guy. And then they did a plot twist of, no, that's not him. That was an actor. Of like, what? Why did they do that? I don't know. I really don't know why they did that. I mean, I probably actually would have respected the movie more if they stuck with that change instead of doing a weird twist like that. Um, and not the character of Wenwu for Shang Chi, of like, that's more accurate, but they basically had him say in the movie of, the Mandarin isn't a real character. I'm just a guy who has these 10 rings, and that's it. So I don't know why the MCU just keeps like dancing around the character of Mandarin without doing anything with him. I don't know. I don't get that. But regardless, I actually, when I was growing up, yeah, yeah, I can definitely respect that. But yeah, I actually, when I was growing up, I had a book. I actually hadn't seen any of the Iron Man movies growing up. Um, my introduction to Iron Man on film was the first Avengers movie, but I did have a book when I was younger that like showed all of these different Iron Man characters. Like, so you had characters like War Machine, Rescue, but you also had some villains like, Mandarin, Whiplash, Crimson Dynamo. Like, you had all those guys, and I was like, these characters are really interesting. I'm really curious, because when I finally got around to checking out the Iron Man movies, I was like, I can't wait to see what they do with these characters. And then I was like, what? But why didn't you do anything with those characters? I thought that was really weird. um, but yeah. Regardless, um, Oh yeah, yeah. I know that that was a thing. I I didn't see that. I mean, is it any good? Because if I find it interesting, I'll check it out. But I'm not too sure about that kind of thing. Well, that's often the case with a lot of cartoons and TV shows and all of that. Like you know the song. You know the song, regardless of the show itself. You know the song. Yeah, stories and okay. All right. Maybe maybe I'll check it out. I'll see. Ah, that's yeah. Yeah, well, sometimes stuff like that happens. Um, it's really too bad with stuff like Beware the Batman. That's a show that I can speak on. Is Beware the Batman, where it had 2 seasons and it was so badly like received and like no one was watching it to where like the last half of season 2 they just did a straight marathon in one night of showing all of the episodes and then that was it. Of like, come on, man, they actually could have done something cool with that. Um, Now what they did with some of the characters I thought was really dumb. Like the character of Professor Pig, like Professor Pig and Beware the Batman is Professor Pig only in name. Like, like the only similarities between comic book Professor Pig and Professor Pig from that show is he goes by the name Professor Pig. His real name is Laszlo Valentine. He wears a pig mask and he has experience in the medical field. That's it. They changed his character in such an unnecessary way. It's the show they made. Yep. Yeah, the Green Lantern the animated series. Yeah, it's got that same art style to it. Yeah, Professor Pig, they changed his character to where like he's like how Poison Ivy is like an eco-terrorist to where she values plant life over human life. Well, they essentially did the same thing with Professor Pig, but made it to where he values animal life more than human life. And so he'll have crimes based off of people that like do bad things to animals and stuff like that. So like he's basically PETA to like this insane extreme. And like if you want to do that with a lesser known Batman character, do that with someone like Ratcatcher. Don't do that to Professor Pig. I don't know what you're thinking of doing with that, but regardless, that was definitely interesting. I also thought it was interesting of the main villain of season 1 anyway. The main villain of season 1, they had Anarchy, and then the main villain of season 2, it wasn't Two Face, but it was Harvey Dent. So like before he got scarred, they don't really show off the split personality. It's just Harvey Dent as the main villain. So it was interesting. It had potential, but like no one was really watching it, and so one night they were like, "Okay, we're gonna cancel the show, but before we do that, we're gonna show all of the remaining episodes back to back." It's the first season, and never heard what happened after. Yeah, well, after well, with season 2, you get Harvey Dent, who becomes the main focus, and um, uh, yeah, I mean, I mean, I can talk about the show, but I don't know how you are with spoilers because I could spoil it, I could not spoil it. I really don't care one way or another, but if I'm not careful, I'll end up spoiling the whole thing. But yeah, I actually I went to school with someone who was this insane band Cape Crusader. I know of it. I haven't seen it personally. I know about what they did. With it being like set in the 1940s and all of that. I think that's kind of cool. And then like adapting like the Batman characters that we know, but making them like period appropriate, like Harleen Quinzel. Like Harley Quinn wasn't created until the 90s, and so having like a 1940s version of her was it's kind of an interesting direction to take things. Um, but yeah, I have not seen Cape Crusader, but I know of it, and I've heard I've heard some good things. I've heard some bad things. I've heard some mixed things. So yeah, at the very least, I know of it. Um, but, yeah. Have you seen Cape Crusader or any of that stuff? I watched 80s. Okay, okay. So would that include stuff like Creature Commandos and oh crap, what's the new one? There's like another newer one. I don't know. I don't know. But I mean, I haven't seen stuff like Creature Commandos. I think the newest. Okay, yeah, no, I haven't seen that either. Um, but I think the newest like DC show that I've seen is probably the Penguin, and that's really good. That's really good. Highly recommend that if you haven't seen it already. Um, and on that note, when are we going to get a sequel to the Batman? We've been waiting for like a million years. I heard the movie got delayed again. What's up with that? Oh, the Tomorrowverse stuff. Yeah, I haven't seen the Tomorrowverse stuff either. Um, but yeah, like, come on, man. I'm waiting. I'm really waiting for a sequel to the Batman. I really want to see it, but I don't know when it's gonna come out. It's my adventure. Oh, okay, yeah. I've heard of that. Heard of that. I haven't seen it. Sequel got. I heard something about it being delayed again. I don't know if that's anything substantial or what, but yeah, yeah. 2028. Yep. See, and assuming that it does actually come out in 2028, that'll be 6 years after the first one. Yeah, I know. And if they had dropped it next year, that would have been fine. But yeah, it's I don't know. I don't know. I really liked that movie, and so I am really hoping that yeah, I guess well, I don't know. I mean, I was under the impression that the James Gunn was fine with having um like DC Studios and then DCU. Like he was cool with like having there being two different film universes. I was under the impression of that anyway. I don't know if that's changed or if it's just some other factor that happened, but regardless, I doesn't want Batman to Superman spotlight. Okay, that's fair. Though admittedly that's kind of hard to accomplish because I mean as big of a character as Superman is, I feel like Batman is way more popular. Like even if you like Superman, like there's just a fact of like Batman has more popularity, I think. And so I don't really know what you could do with that. I mean, I know that James Gunn had plans of doing his own Batman story involving Damian Wayne Robin. It was going to be called Brave and the Bold and all of that. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know, but I just want to see the movie. Uh, introducing a few new heroes, bringing Blue Beetle back. Okay. All right. Yeah, I do remember that back when the DCEU was on its last legs, James Gunn was like, we're gonna pump out all of the movies that were going to come out, and some of these may or may not be canon to this new universe and all of that. And I did hear stuff like the Suicide Squad, like parts of that movie are canon with the DCU, and like Peacemaker season 1 is like kind of canon and all of that. And yeah, I don't know. I really don't know. It's just tough because it's like, come on, man, I'm waiting. I'm waiting for this movie. I want to see it. I have really I heard that that they weren't going to do that though. I heard that that they were going to keep them separate. Easier. I understand that it would be easier, but I heard that they were gonna they're going to keep them separate, which, to be honest, I don't particularly care one way or the other if they make it the same universe or if they split it off to be its own thing. I'm really not sure, but regardless, I really want to see a sequel to that because I really like the movie that we got, and then watching The Penguin, I was like, oh, there's so much potential here. Like you could do so much with that, and so I really hope that they go that direction, and I hope they eventually do. When this movie comes out in like 30 years from now. Oh my goodness, it's tough. It's very tough. I want to like it, but it's making it hard for me to like it because of what they're doing. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And see, I did hear one thing about one of the reasons why it keeps getting delayed is because Matt Reeves like wants to make sure of like, I want this movie to be as good as it can be. And so he like wasn't satisfied with like an earlier draft of the movie, so it got delayed until he was like went to where he's like, okay, it's got to be good. So yeah, it definitely can be a negative sign when it keeps getting pushed back like this, but there's also a chance that that it could be good. I do to know. I'm really not sure what to think about it. Um, but yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know what I don't know, and I really don't know with this. Um, but yeah, I mean, sometimes it ends up being for the better that the movie gets delayed. Um, so that they want to ensure the best possible quality. But again, it's like they've been waiting so long with this. I really don't know. I'm really not sure, but regardless, that's the situation wherein we find ourselves. So I'm really not sure, but I guess we'll find out as time goes on, as we get closer to that day, whether it's revealed of yes, this movie's finally going to come out, of no, it's going to get delayed again. I don't know. You're done have to. Oh, really? Okay. Well, then maybe that could be cool of them being like, hey, this is coming out and this is coming out, and maybe they got other stuff planned that's also going to come out at that time. So it'd be cool. I just really want to see the movie. That's just the long and short of it. I just really want to see this movie. But then again, there are other movies that are announced that I want to see that aren't out yet. Like oh man, there's going to be a Terrifier 4 that's not coming out until next year. And then there's going to be a new Nightmare on Elm Street that's coming out, but we don't know any details on it and all of that. So that could be cool. But I don't like to wait. That's one of the problems that I have is I don't like to wait when something cool sounds like it's gonna happen. I'm like, yes, please give me right now. I want that. But yeah, I don't know. Yes, there is. There is. And John Carpenter, the guy that co-wrote and directed the first movie, he's got some creative control over that. And sounds like he's finally going to chill out about that series because very famously, he does not like the direction that that franchise went, starting with the second movie. He has some very strong words about Halloween 2. And yeah, so like it's nice to see that he's finally on the same page with people in regards to that franchise. So that could be cool. Was he the first? Yeah, he directed the first movie. Yep. And then he co-wrote the first movie, and he also co-wrote the second movie. And very famously, he absolutely hates the second movie. He's like, "That's one of the worst movies ever. I absolutely hate it," and all of that. So really, ever since then, it was a thing of he's like, you know what? I don't really care too much what happens, but I don't want it. I don't want anything to do with that. He did end up making the music for the newest trilogy, the one that ended a few years back. But yeah, it's just nice to see that he's like, yes, finally, yes, I am on the same page with you in regards to the series, which wouldn't you know it, it's only based off of the original movie, so I guess that makes sense. Because he wants absolutely nothing to do with the second movie and all of the plot lines introduced. Well, not even all the plot lines, just the one main thing that was introduced in that movie that he very famously is vehemently against. Like his biggest problem with that movie. But yeah, I don't know. The game is shaping up to be pretty cool. I won't. I personally won't play it because, well, I don't exactly. I have a gaming system. I have a PS4. I don't have a PS5, which the reason I don't have a PS5 is because they're really expensive. But yeah, and I'm not connected to PlayStation Network or anything like that. And I also my computer that I have, like I have a PC, but it's not good for playing games. I use it for writing, and that's like I use it for writing, and I use it for uploading YouTube videos, and like that's about it. So yeah, I personally don't have any say in whether the game's going to be good or not because it doesn't personally affect me. But I hope that it's a step in the right direction. Get more people on board with this and get people to be united and especially if they do something interesting like what they did with the Friday the 13th game back in 2017 where they like make references to the yeah, yep, I understand that. But yeah, see, I used to do a lot of mobile game stuff, and then I got a new phone that doesn't allow me to screen record anymore. So I was like, well, if I can't make YouTube videos on this anymore, then I don't know if I'm gonna do it. I mean, I still have some Five Nights at Freddy's games on my phone. I haven't played them in a really long time, but I still have them on my phone, just in case I'm ever in the mood to play those. So yeah. Good old Five Nights at Freddy's. Crystal Lake TV show. Yes, there is. There is going to be a Crystal Lake TV show. I am so happy that they got that lawsuit figured out. Like the lawsuit with who owned what, that was so dumb, but we finally got some middle ground and now we're finally allowed to get new content with this. I've been waiting. I have been waiting to see stuff with this guy for the longest time. And now we finally are getting somewhere with that. uh yeah, like it sucks having to wait for a new Batman movie, but the last Friday the 13th movie came out in 2009. Yeah, there was a whole legal battle. I don't know if lawsuit is exactly the right word, but there was a whole legal battle between the writer and the director of the original Friday the 13th in regards to who owned what. Because I don't know if you've seen any of those movies or not, but the iconic thing of Jason Voorhees stalking people with a hockey mask, this wasn't introduced until the third movie. So the first movie is very much different, and the second movie, it's got Jason in it, but it's not the Jason that we know today and all of that. And so there's this whole legal mess of people wondering like who owns what and what should be considered canon, what should not be considered canon, and all of that. And there was this whole mess that went on for a very, very long time, and they finally reached an agreement, and they rebranded everything Friday the 13th as the Jason universe. And so this Crystal Lake show, that's going to be the first thing under the Jason universe brand. And so we're finally going to get something with this. It's annoying. It's very annoying. Especially someone who's a fan of that franchise, to where it's like, come on, man, it's not that hard. It's really not that hard. Just put aside your differences and make another movie. But yeah, it's weird. Yeah, I know. It is. It really is. I don't know why all of these things keep happening to all these cool things. But regardless, there's also a legal issue going on with it's created by one. Yeah, you see, it's easy to think that, and I was under that impression too. But then, like, watching the movies and learning more about the behind the scenes and all that, and who wrote the movie and what direction they wanted to go and all of that, it's way more complicated than that. But yeah, I just think it's kind of funny that, like, when you hear Friday the 13th, you think of, oh yeah, this guy with the hockey mask. Of, yeah, he doesn't get the hockey mask until more than halfway through the third movie. In the first movie, he's nothing more than a plot point, and in the second movie, he's the killer, but he looks completely different. And so it isn't until the third movie where he gets the hockey mask, and that's when the movie's more than halfway through. And then he dies in the fourth movie. And then in the fifth movie, it's someone else killing people. And then in the sixth movie, that's when he gets resurrected and he becomes a zombie and all of that. And then he gets resurrected again in the seventh movie. He gets resurrected again in the eighth movie. The ninth movie was meant to be a thing of him being taken out once and for all, because they wanted to make a Freddy vs. Jason movie. And as they were trying to figure that out, that's when they made Jason X, to where it's a movie that takes place after the events of Freddy vs. Jason, even though Freddy vs. Jason came out after it. So there was that. But yeah, Jason X was so basically the first 8 Friday the 13th movies that have the Friday the 13th name, those were made by Paramount. And then the 9th movie, which is called Jason Goes to Hell, The Final Friday, that was made by New Line Cinema with a little bit of Paramount in it. And then Jason X, it was the same thing. And then Freddy vs. Jason, same kind of thing. It was mainly New Line Cinema, and Paramount had like a little bit of influence in it. And then with the Friday the 13th remake in 2009, that was kind of a collaborative effort with Paramount and New Line. And then yeah, that's kind of when the whole legal battle started in terms of who owned what and all of that. But yeah, Jason X, that's a fun movie though. I really could have done with more Uber Jason though. Like, you would think that with, like, you know, the cyborg Jason being on the cover of the movie, you would assume that he's like that for most of the movie. He's not like that for most of the movie. He doesn't look like that until the movie has like 15 minutes left in the runtime. It's kind of annoying, and they didn't even do much with his character when he became upgraded like that. But yeah, images. You see, they have not done that. They made figures based off of, well, they made figures based off of part 2, part 3, part 4. They made both a Nightmare Jason and a Roy based off of part 5. They made one for part 6. They made one for part 7. And then I'm sure they were going to make one for JTM, Jason Takes Manhattan, but then when the lawsuit happened, they weren't allowed to do that. So now that that's finally sorted, they're able to make figures for Jason Takes Manhattan and Jason Goes to Hell, but there's a stipulation that they can't say that it's based off of those movies. Technically, what they are is they're figures based off of cosmetics and different player characters from the Friday the 13th game. So that's why when they revealed those at Toy Fair and then at Comic-Con, they're listed as Part 8 Jason and Part 9 Jason, instead of Jason from Friday the 13th, Part 8, Jason Takes Manhattan, and Jason Goes to Hell the Final Friday, because technically they're not based off of the movies. And in regards to Jason X, well, there were plans to make a Jason X DLC for the Friday the 13th game, but that didn't end up happening. And so because that didn't end up happening, and because they're forced to make figures specifically based off of the game, I don't know if we're going to get a Jason X figure from NECA. McFarlane made one back in, when was that? That was like 2002 or 2003 that they made a Jason X figure. It was of Uber Jason, and it was early 2000s McFarlane, which means that it only had like, its arm could move like this, and it had like a waist twist, and then like that was it. So like it had very limited articulation, but yeah, I mean McFarlane made one, and I think that's it. I think that's all we got in terms of Uber Jason, or just Jason X in general. But yeah, have y'all seen have you seen Jason X? So that movie's fun. It's just I find it a little underwhelming for my taste. I do like the sci-fi element that movie had of going like several hundred years into the future and all of that. I just think that was a little maybe more comedic for some reason. Well, I mean that's not it's not without reason. I mean that was kind of at the time when being comedic and all of that, that was kind of the appeal at the time, and so they're like, well, let's do that. And so like it had a very early 2000s feel to it, but the movie came out in 2001, so it makes sense. But yeah. So you've seen Jason X. Have you seen any of the other ones? I have seen all of them, and some I like more than others. Yeah, it would be cool for NECA to make a Jason X figure. It's just that I really don't know if they will. As annoying as that is, I feel like it's have to be honest here and be like, yeah, I don't know if they're gonna do it. I think they should, because technically they had concept art for Jason X, because like I said, they were going to make a DLC for it. So maybe NECA could be like, it's not based off of Jason X, it's based off of the concept art for Part 10 Jason for Friday the 13th the game. I don't know if they're allowed to do that or not, but yeah, whatever it might be. But yeah, have you seen any of the other ones? Any of the other most horror movies that really tapped into that? I watched Jason X for Halloween. Previous trilogy ones. Okay, that's fair. That's fair. Yeah. Okay, so you've seen the Blumhouse trilogy then, with David Gordon Green direction, with James Jude Courtney, and Michael Myers. That's not bad. It's not bad. It's not my favorite timeline, but it's all right. But yeah, Jason X is fun. Though another one that's kind of fun. The sort of thing. Hey, it is a very good movie. I'm a really big fan of that one. But yeah, with another fun movie. I've been meaning, another video that I've been meaning to make is like gateway, like not really gateway horror movies, but like horror movies to where like if you like certain things, you might like these types of movies and that kind of thing. And Yeah, one of them that I really like is Freddy versus Jason because it's got like it's really got this like superhero type feel to it. Like it really feels like a comic book. And the director of that movie, he has this thing with colors to where like you have these really vibrant colors like in certain scenes, and it really makes things look really interesting. And so yeah, I like Freddy versus Jason myself. I think that one's really fun. I mean, I understand why people have their criticisms with it, but I liked it. I liked it a lot. Um, but yeah, it is definitely a good one. I remember when that movie came out, and there was a huge buzz around it. Everyone wanted to see it, and I didn't see it until a couple years later. And then when I did see it, I was like, "Oh yeah, this is really good. I like this." Um, yeah. Do you think Jason versus Michael could ever happen? Well, it's probably not because there was a whole mess in terms of who owned Jason, but then with Michael Myers, that is a completely different thing, and different movies are owned by different companies. To where like the second and third one, which Michael Myers isn't even in the third one, but the so Halloween 2 and Halloween 3, those are made by Universal, and then Halloween 6 and then H2 on Resurrection, those are made by Dimension. And then you have the Blumhouse trilogy, which is made by Blumhouse, which is kind of tied to Universal, but not really. It's also kind of its own thing. So like it's complicated, and like in terms of rights to like the original movie, I don't know who owns it, but it's not any of those guys, and it's a complicated thing. So like it's such a tough thing of like who owns what that they'd have to do a whole song and dance in terms of like figuring out another big legal thing in order to get something like that to happen. So I don't think something like that could happen. I mean, it would be cool. There was talk. I don't know if you're familiar with Hellraiser at all, but there was talk back in the early 2000s of having a movie of Michael going up against the Cenobites from Hellraiser, and I think that could have been interesting, but also at the same time, admittedly, that's a really flawed concept, and basically, I don't know how that would have worked. I mean, there was a script that got made, but I really don't know about it. Really don't. I'm ultimately glad that it didn't happen, despite me being a fan of both franchises. I don't think it would have worked of merging those two together. So I don't know. It might be for the best if we don't get Jason and Michael. I don't know. It could work. It could not work. I just don't see it happening anytime soon. Well, my goodness, I have been talking for so long that I'm actually starting to lose my voice. I don't know if you noticed that or not, but my voice is getting more scratchy and darker and all of that. So that's probably a sign that I should take a break from this. So I will say, I mean, holy crap, I've been going for almost 2 hours 45 minutes. It does not feel like I've been going for that long. Um, I think I might call it here for the day. This was really fun. Thanks for hanging out and the for talking with me and all of that. I definitely appreciate that. So I think I'm gonna end this for today. So take care. I will. Oh no, it's all good. It's all good. Yeah, I like doing it too. I just had some free time and I figured, hey, a live stream sounds kind of fun. I haven't done that in a while, but yeah, I will see you later. So stay tuned. I do plan on making those video ideas that I was talking about. So guess I will see you later then. So thanks for hanging out. Have a good rest of your day. Bye. All right, now how do I stop this again? Do I just do that? Yep. All right, there we go.